Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about how to get faster for your marathon.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone RunDisney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
So at the time of recording this, I have gotten so many questions daily, so many DMs daily about how to get faster for the marathon. I've gotten these questions daily since Wine and Dine, and now we are more than a week out from Wine and Dine. People want to get faster. They were saying things like, get faster for a bigger buffer between me and the balloon ladies, a faster pace so that I can stop for character stops. The number of runners that tell me that they just blow right by the character stops because they don't want to risk getting swept. So if you're feeling that way, you're not the only one. There are so many of these other runners saying, I need to get faster because I want to actually enjoy Disney, right? Like, we aren't elite runners. Like, good for the New York City Marathon runners who just ran the other day. I think I saw that the female who won the race set a new record, which is phenomenal. I'm so proud of her. That's not me. That's not you. If you're listening to this, it's very much likely not you. I think she did 2 hours and, I'm not even sure. I don't remember it because I blipped right on past that pace, but all I could think of was very good job for her. I could never. And I don't help my clients do that either. So, very good job for her. That's not me. So, for me, I have never even looked up what their trainings even look like. The only reason I know what training looks like for somebody who's getting a sub 3-hour marathon, as an example, is because I follow a couple of runners on Instagram, and one in particular, I follow her because she does a good job with her reels. She gets noticed and she's commented. I've listened to podcasts where she's been on. She talks about how she got so many followers because in her reels, she gets most of her followers for winter running stuff. She posted lots of reels with her running in Alaska, and she literally has icicles on her eyelashes because of just where she's running. And so I'm not gonna lie, that's why I started following her, because I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so now she's also a running coach, and she shares what her training looks like, and I assume that's what she's having some of her clients do too. But she'll do 2 workouts in a day. She'll run 8 miles in the middle of the week. She does things like strides. Friend, that type of training doesn't fit with me, and it doesn't fit with my clients. I do things very differently. And if you've worked with me or if you've heard something I've said where you're like, yep, that is different, I'd be very interested to hear what that different thing is. So you can DM me, runDisney DPT. Or if you're in Stronger, Faster, Finisher or one of my one-on-one clients, tell me at our next call. I'd be very interested to hear about that information. But I know I do things differently, and I'm not trying to get a sub 2-hour half marathon. I'm not trying to get a sub 3-hour marathon. I haven't run a marathon yet. Never say never. I used to say never, but now I'm like, ooh, that is interesting to me. The thing that holds me back from it is just the time commitment. Literally, it's going to take me 6 to 7 hours to do the marathon. And thinking about training for the marathon for 6 months with slowly increasing that long run up until 6 or 7 hours in the future, sure. I mean, I work for myself. I have no little kids. If you don't know, I am child-free by choice. Royal and I have our dog, four-legged fur friend, Levi. He's our almost 12-year-old Wheaten Terrier, and we love him, and we love our nephews. We love our nephews. We want to be able to spoil them rotten, be fun, cool auntie and uncle, but we want to give them back at the end of the day. Give them back to their parents, enjoy them for a couple of hours, but we'd like to be able to continue going to bed at 8:30 in the morning, waking up at 5:30 and having our own lovely day. Like I start my day every day, friends. I start my day, I get out of bed, I go make a cup of coffee, and I get back into bed. And I drink my coffee, scroll through Instagram. I have a set email that comes to me of what my day looks like for the day, how many coaching calls I have, and my stronger, faster finisher coaching calls, my one-on-one coaching calls, and then other odds and ends. Am I recording a podcast? Whatever I'm doing. I love to do that in bed with no noise. The most noise that happens is Levi comes back into bed after breakfast because it's his nap time, and he makes all these mouth noises. Oh my God. But he's just had a lovely breakfast and he's still wiping all the remnants off the rest of his mouth. That's the kind of morning I like to have. And children, I am told, don't allow you to have that morning. But love kids, just also love to be able to give them back. Love that everybody else wants to have the children. I will spoil the children, and I will have my quiet time and my early bedtime, early rise time, but quiet. Anyway, that's a long story short about, marathon training and stuff for me right now. Let's get back to the original thing. Marathon training, getting faster for your marathon. So timing wise, this is the beginning of November that I am doing this podcast. Can you still get faster between now and Dopey? Yes. Meaning now and the marathon. Yes. You still have 2 months before race day. You still have about 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, depending on when you listen to this, 5 to 6 weeks before your peak long run. Your peak long run starts your taper. You don't want to be working on getting faster in the sense of running faster during taper. But you only need a short amount of time to get this much faster. Now, we are not talking cutting 45 minutes off of your race, okay? If you listened to the podcast episode a couple of weeks ago with my client Amanda, she shared a phenomenal story where she went from a 4-hour, just under 4-hour half marathon to a 3-hour and 15-minute half marathon in 1 year. And really in 6 months, because we had started working together 6 months prior. Now, I'm not promising those results. Amanda did the same thing that I'm going to talk about today. And actually, now that I'm saying this, I'm going to do a webinar for this. I'm going to do a webinar about getting faster. Not sure exactly the date. It's going to be before Thanksgiving 2025. So if you're listening to this, check the show notes. I'll have a link for registration, or DM me runDisney DPT over on Instagram. But I'm not promising her results. I'm not promising 45 minutes off of your half marathon time. That kind of result takes more time than what you have right now. Or maybe, actually, I am just assuming that you're doing January 2026 marathon. Maybe you're listening to this and you have 6 months. You could make those changes. Amanda did the exact thing that I'm going to talk about today and in the webinar. So that's the kind of thing that's possible. And I did a 30-day faster challenge in May the end of May, beginning of May. Actually, I don't even remember. I think it was the end of May. Did that, and so many runners got at least 60 seconds faster 60 seconds per mile faster in those 30 days. So that's 4 weeks, friend. You can do it. And 60 seconds per mile faster on a full marathon, that's 26 minutes off of your finish time. It could happen. Now, of course, the longer distance you go, the slower you're going to be. So somebody's 5K distance pace is not the same as their marathon pace. So to be conservative, let's just cut that in half, and let's just say instead of 60 seconds per mile, let's say 30 seconds per mile faster on average. Well, that's 13 minutes. On average, runners wait 1 to 5 minutes for a character stop. In 13 minutes, you could definitely get 2 and maybe even 3 character stops. And then castle stop even faster because they have 4, sometimes 5 photographers, so 5 different lines, and you just go, go, go. So that's what is possible. And what I'm going to walk you through today is the concept. It's going to take too much beyond this podcast to get into all of the nitty gritty. That's why I decided let's do a class. I don't know what to call it. What do we call it? A webinar, a class, a teaching, a training? What are we calling it? That's why I think doing that would be more helpful, because then you're going to do some of it right then and there. So then it's done. You just set aside the 45 minutes, the hour, and then it's done. But we're going to talk about the number one thing to avoid and what to do. Okay, so we have one thing to avoid and a couple of things to do. So most RunDisney runners are doing the thing that I'm going to say to avoid. So that's another reason I am different. The other popular training plan out there, it says to do this thing. And I personally, professionally, believe that is not sound advice. And I've seen it bite runners in the butt, and it's no good. So I don't want you to do that. Okay? And I want you to make sure that every run has a purpose. We're not going out willy-nilly and just going for a run. I do know that's why a lot of people start, because there's not a whole lot of thinking that has to happen with running. You just go. I watch Big Bang Theory. If anybody has ever watched Big Bang Theory, there's an episode where Penny and Sheldon are going to run. Sheldon wants to get healthier. He has this whole routine that he's starting, and one of them is going for a run. And he has his iPod and he has his watch and he's ready to go. And he asks Penny, well, where's all your stuff? And she's like, I don't need it. He's like, well, where's your watch? Oh, I don't need it. Where's your iPod? I don't need it. And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, how do you know what you're doing? And she goes, I run until I get hungry, I stop for a donut, and I go home. And that's one way to run. You just grab some running shoes, go out for a run until you hit the end of the road, turn around, and come back and be done with it. That doesn't get you faster. In the last episode, I think it was the last episode, I talked about one of the coaches that I listened to a podcast of, and she said, well, I just used to go and run a half marathon to run a half marathon. That's how she trained for her half marathon. This is the same concept, just going out for a run and running whatever pace comes out. And that is a way to run. It is a way to train. You won't get faster doing it. Initially, you'll get faster. Let me eat my words here. Initially, you will get faster, because anybody, when they're first running and first starting out, they're naturally just going to get faster. That's going to happen because they're getting more trained. But eventually it's going to hit a plateau and then it's going to regress. You're going to do really, really well for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And then things are going to go backward. Shit's going to hit the fan. Your knee's going to hurt. Your Achilles is going to hurt. And you're going to get slower. So not only are you now in pain, but you're also going to get slower. So let's have that not happen. Let's have purposeful runs. So we want, if you're ready for the nitty-gritty, write this down. So we have a couple of different runs. We have our long, easy runs. That's one in the same. They are not long runs and easy runs being two separate things. No, long, easy runs are one and the same. Okay. One in the same? No, it's one and the same. They are the same. Then we have speed workouts. Okay, and we need specific goals, specific speed workouts to actually make progress. I have 4 specific speed workouts that work best for runDisney runners, especially if you're run walking. Now, I use a different type of run walk interval schedule than the traditional like 30-30 or 15-30 or something like that. Mine are a little atypical, but these work for runDisney runners. And then we also have cross training. So let's talk about what the goals of each of these are. So our long, easy run are to build longevity, build time on our feet, get our body used to being on our feet for that length of time, whether you're walking or running or a combination of the two. And when I say running, that's run walk if that's what you do to run a race. When I say walking, that's strictly walking. Like I'm going for a 3-mile walk. I'm walking 1 mile as part of my long run. That's fine. Okay? And if you just straight run, no run walk intervals, cool. That's running as well. Long, easy run needs to be so easy you feel like you could go more, or you feel like you could go all day. You have the discipline to stop at the distance or the time, whichever you're tracking. You have the discipline to not keep going all day. But it's so easy you feel like you could. As an example, that pace should be 2 minutes per mile slower than what you anticipate your race pace to be. Now, of course, I recommend actually testing your race pace, and I have a signature way of doing that. I walk all of my clients through it. We need to know those numbers in order to make sure we are doing the thing properly and achieving the goal of each individual run. Okay, long, easy run, building time on our feet. I'm going to go to cross training because that one's quick. Cross training is an activity, a cardiovascular activity that builds your endurance, makes your heart beat more efficiently, and makes your breathing more efficient so you don't feel like you're gasping for breath, you don't feel like you're dying. But it's a different activity than running so that you don't have all of that pounding on your joints. So it mimics what your heart and your lungs are doing, but it's different than what your legs are doing when you run. So that's swimming, riding a bike, spin class, playing another sport, basketball, soccer, ice skating. I went to the Golden Knights hockey game the other day for Halloween, and ice skating, holy cow. Have you ever seen those professional skaters? Even the kids, that at halftime they had the little kids on the ice for like 5 minutes. The little kids are working real hard. And you're huffing and puffing and you're sweating and everything like that. Ice skating, that would be a phenomenal thing to do. But so you're doing something different. You could do elliptical. You could even just walk. Paced walking is a great cross-training activity. But the goal of cross-training is to make your heart and your lungs work like you were running without actually running. Then let's get into the speed workouts. So the 4 specific speed workouts, they each have their own goal. Okay, so if you've been here for any length of time, you've heard me talk about my 4 favorite speed workouts. And I recommend you doing them as the short workouts in the middle of the week. So other training plans will say these are maintenance runs. I don't like that term because maintenance just sounds like, oh, I should just go out and do the same pace that I'm doing for everything else, which again, that is a way to run. You just don't get faster with it. So that's why I like doing these speed workouts in the middle of the week because you go hard. But you can't go that hard for that long. So let's do 30 minutes if we're doing like a 5K or a 10K. Let's do 45 minutes, maybe even an hour if we're doing a half marathon, full marathon, 2-course challenge, goofy or dopey. 45 minutes. But that includes a 10-minute warm up and a 10-minute cool down. So 45 to 60 minutes is total workout time. So that is 45 minutes minus 10 for a warm up, minus 10 for a cool down. We have 25 dedicated minutes to our speed workout. How hard can you go in 25 minutes? If you know you're stopping at 25 minutes, no matter how far you went, how hard could you go? You want to go hard on your speed workout days because that's building the muscle fibers that make you go faster. Our muscles have 2 different types of fibers in them. They're literally called slow twitch and fast twitch. Slow twitch, it's right there in the name. It helps you go long and slow. Fast twitch, that's used for things like sprinting, running faster, and jumping. Okay? So when you go on your long run, you're still just using your slow twitch fibers for the majority of that run. We need to train those fast twitch fibers if we want to be turning our legs over. Now, of course, as you get faster and faster on your long run and training, you're going to be using some of those fast twitch fibers. But if you only ever go the same pace all of the time, you don't train those fast twitch fibers, so they are not going to kick in on race day. So we need to train those fast twitch fibers. And we do that with 4 distinct speed workouts, and they have 4 distinct reasons, goals, purposes. So we have 30, 20, 10. 30 seconds of jogging or walking, 20 seconds of running or your middle speed, and 10 seconds of sprinting or your fast speed. So you have 3 different paces. I use jog, run, sprint just as delineators, but jogging, it could actually be walking for you. Running, that could actually be jogging for you. And sprinting, that could actually be running for you. As long as we have 3 distinct paces, that's what we're going for. And I love this one for run walkers because it adds up as a total minute. So it's 30 seconds and then technically 30 seconds. Right? So it's a 30-30 run walk. So you can use that first 30 seconds as walking and then 20 seconds as running faster and then 10 seconds as running even faster. The goal of this one is to learn to adjust what speed you're going for short bursts of time. This is perfect for when you're in a race and you have to get around somebody. You know, you finally caught up, somebody's just walking and you need to get around them. So you just want to run faster for a short burst just to get around and ahead of them. Or if you have to play catch up for a little bit of time because you've gone to the bathroom. That's what it's training. Then you have your progression run, which gets you practicing going a little bit faster over the entire period of time. So you can do your 30-30 again, or you could do 15-15-30, and you go a little bit faster during each of those 15-second intervals. And then you ramp it up. So now you're practicing getting faster over the length of time that you're running, which mimics race day. Because I recommend runners start slow and progressively get faster and faster and faster throughout the race in order to achieve the goal that they want, as opposed to going out strong and then, feeling like you're going to die 3 miles in. Nobody wants that. And then, of course, you have hills, where runDisney has so many on and off ramps and just hills in general. This trains you to practice those hills. You practice running up as fast as you can or as slow as you want, and then recovering. So now you know how hard to push it on those ramps and how long it's going to take you to recover. There's nothing worse than being blindsided by something on the course and you sprint up that ramp and then you've never done that before and it takes you 15 minutes to recover. But if you've been practicing that couple of times throughout your 3 months of training for a half marathon, 6 months, 7 months of training for a full marathon, you know how your body's going to react. If you're anything like me, you might say, not worth it. I'm just going to walk up these hills. That's what I do. I still practice hills in my training, so I could run up the hill if I wanted, but I just walk up those ramps. It gives me a break. I get to eat my Nerds gummy clusters and I call it a day. But that lets you know what you're going to feel like on race day when you have those ramps. And then finally, tempo run. Tempo run in my world means anything faster than easy pace up to race pace. So you get to practice all sorts of different paces for prolonged amount of time. I have runners who will say, well, I'm just running in 30, 20, 10. I'm just running for 20 seconds or 10 seconds for a minimal amount of time. And okay, yes, you are. But also if you're doing a 30-30 interval, you're always only doing that before your next rest break. And also, here's another way to practice going for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, 25, 45 minutes of this specific pace. Now you know exactly what that pace feels like. So then on race day, you know, oh, yes, I can hold that for 3 miles, or I can hold that for 13 miles. Because if you just gun it, you're going to burn out. And if you've never practiced it before, like before race day, you're not going to know that you can't hold that pace for 13 miles, that you can only hold it for 1 mile because you've never practiced it before. So you can practice all these different paces, including your anticipated race pace before race day. So see how each speed workout has a very specific purpose and they get you faster. They practice those fast twitch. So let's go back to talking about what that number one mistake runDisney runners are making. And it's trying to run the same pace every time they go out and run. And I get it. I know where it's coming from. Part of it, it's coming from, well, you practice like you play. I have to run this pace in order to make sure I can run this pace on race day. Or it comes from runDisney runners who have previously used the popular runDisney training plan that says we recommend you train at 15 minutes per mile. It says it right there on the runDisney website. So I get where you're coming from. But from a coach's perspective and my own running perspective, that will actually gas you out more, and you might even not make it to the starting line, let alone the finish line. Because what happens is you end up running the same pace or trying to run the same pace every time, but without the variety, you get wore out. You can't keep going. You get burnt out. And so you're running, usually runners, when they come to me, they've been running 5 days a week. And for, another conversation, that's too many running days. But also, running 5 days a week at that intensity is going to burn you out. Even if it is pretty slow, if it's fast for you, let's say your race pace, you anticipate being 15 minutes per mile pace. Going that fast for a 12-mile run, and then in the middle of the week, a 3-mile run, a 3-mile run, a 5-mile run, a 4-mile run. Just thinking about it is exhausting to me. As opposed to, what if we want race pace to be 15 minutes per mile, let's do 17 minutes per mile on that long run. 2 minutes per mile slower than race pace. So now 2 minutes per mile slower, maybe you're even walking that. I'd rather you walk it. But think about how much energy you can conserve to be able to now go hard on your 45-minute speed workout. Now you have the energy to do 10-second spurts of an 11-minute per mile pace. Or 15 seconds, every 15 seconds getting faster, starting at a 14-minute per mile pace. Because we can do anything for 10, 15, or 30 seconds, right? We can, especially if we have walking breaks. We can do anything. Go hard in those short bouts, because you can always finish off the workout by walking. If you can't do the whole 25-minute segment of speed workouts, and you can just do 15 minutes, great, walk the last 10 minutes. And then do another cool down. So then you're walking for 20 minutes of that at the end. Great. Because that meant you went hard. And when we're talking about going hard, I'm talking zone 4 and 5 if we're following heart rate zones. Whereas your long run should be zone 2, maybe zone 3. Let's go hard in those short bouts, because that's where we train the body, the legs to turn over faster, to train our body to just get faster. When you go the same pace every single run, yes, you're training your body to technically run that pace, but without the variety, you are going to burn out. You may not even make it to the starting line. But when you mix it up, train the different types of muscles for the different amounts of time, not only does it stay interesting, but you are going to get faster. I have seen it time and time and time again. I mean, I had 130 people go through that 30-day to faster in May, and everybody who went through the actual program got faster. Every single one of them. I can go back and count. I asked people to share information. Now, of course, not everybody will. That's okay. But I had a couple of clients join Stronger, Faster, Finisher after that, and I know exactly what kind of paces they're running now. One woman, thinking of this now, one woman who's in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, she told me she joined the 30-day to faster and then joined Stronger, Faster, Finisher because she typically likes to just run easy and she doesn't really push herself. And she really wanted to get faster timing and be able to get a proof of time for the full marathon next year. Well, she just ran Wine and Dine, and her mile 12 of the half marathon was her fastest pace during that half marathon. And she felt like she could have done so much more. She went to the parks afterward, and she had said, so she and her husband did the 10K as well. And she was like, yeah, we felt like we could have done more, but we decided to hold back just in case. We've never done 2 days in a row. We've never done the challenge 2 days in a row. We're going to hold back. They felt like they had energy to spare, to keep going and go faster. And they had the discipline to not. So I am very proud of them for that. because you don't know what's going to happen when you've never done 2 days in a row. But even after doing the 10K, the next day, she still had energy to spare at the very end of the half marathon. And it was faster. And then I had another client who did her fastest Disney race ever, her fastest half marathon ever at this past Wine and Dine. She hasn't raced in years. So not only is she 10 years older, she anticipated 10 years slower, and she got a Disney PR. She PR'd in fun because she had a lot of fun, but also a legitimate, actual, faster race. And I want this for you as well. So take this information, do what you can with this information, and check the link in the show notes, because I know you can get faster with the designated specifics, and I want to help you get there. Please take what you've learned in this episode and use it to adjust your strategy for your RunDisney race training. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things in the right balance so you can finish strong, not broken. And if you want personalized guidance specific to your race, your injury history, your running background, and your goals, that's exactly what we do inside Stronger, Faster, Finisher. You'll get step-by-step instructions and a proven system to help you train smarter from start to finish. Join the waitlist today to be the first to know when it opens next. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.